Hey, Nick, because we're on a little bit of a time crunch too, but we need you to react to this because, Brad, we were showing it.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, long snappers. We got to talk about it here.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty incredible conversation between Bill Belichick and the Pat McAfee show, just about like some history with long snappers and just reacting to like how things have evolved as far as the long snapping position is concerned. And I was like, we got the perfect guy to react to this. So let's pull this up and then we'll have you reacted on the other side.
Phenomenal job by Cole Kmet.
Well, look, that may be true. It's hard for me to imagine Todd Christensen never had two touchdowns in one game, but maybe not. I don't know.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Todd Christensen
had a lot of touchdowns.
He was long snapper? You tight end long snapper back in the day?
Snap.
Well, in a modern era, I guess they would probably say. That. When did the long snapping become its own position, Bill? Do you remember?
Mid-90s.
Because it was D-ends normally or tight ends that ended up doing it, right?
Well, sometimes it was the center, sometimes the linebackers. A guy like Zach Diossi, for example, was a high school quarterback and then converted to linebacker at Brown and then was a snapper, but obviously could throw the ball as a high school quarterback. I think Steve Diossi was one of the first long snappers that perfected the snap and block. So prior to, let's call it again, the mid-'80s, what did I say, mid-'90s? I meant the mid-'80s, sorry. Prior to like the mid-'80s, the snappers usually just snapped, and they didn't really have a blocking responsibility. Steve and then others that have followed after him, and certainly all the ones we have in the league now, have a responsibility to not only snap and block, so you can leave the gunner split. And that was a big fundamental change that I'd say most coaches didn't think was possible, but Steve and some of the other guys that played in those mid-'80s change that. So I know you appreciate that, Pat, as a punter, getting those gunners out there to cover.
Absolutely. And if you can get a snapper that can block, snap, and cover, wow. I mean, here we go. Mm-hmm. Here we go. That's a big. Normally need to do 2 out of 3. I don't know if that's how you viewed it. That's kind of how I viewed it. Coverage and snapping good. Then you can kind of hide your blocking wise. If you can snap and block well, that's good. Then we don't really need you coverage wise. Needed to have 2 out of 3. Yeah.
All right. So real quick, do you have 2 out of 3 or do you have 3 out of 3, Nick?
I have 3 out of 3.
I was going to say we have the 2024 Pro Bowler for the AFC and Nick Moore right here. Yeah. So despite a missed tackle and the penalties, we all make mistakes here. So, but I think, Nick, it's pretty cool though, just seeing the value of it all. But you got one more thing, Brad?
Yeah, I just wanted to also play. So Bill Belichick also breaks down this play, and I wanted to get Nick's take on it as well. And then we can get him out of here. If that's
we can
get a stand up so that the
touches him.
Yeah, so he doesn't jump over you. I mean, it's
if he touches him at all.
I would put just a minimum of awareness in there. It doesn't take a lot, but just a minimum of awareness.
So just snap and
see who's in there.
Yeah, so it's like it is practice, especially because the new rule is if they touch you, they can't touch you. So like if they perfectly clear, they don't use anybody as leverage or catapult themselves or touch the back or the back of somebody's head, it's okay. They made that rule like 5-10 years ago. I don't remember exactly when it was. So then there was a thought like if you just touch them, it's a
flag.
It's a flag. So it's like get big almost, right?
Yeah, flip them over. Yeah.
And then some guys,
throw a jab.
That
used to be the job.
You would never coach that. That would never be coached. Just stand up and block them. I mean, a guy's jumping up in the air.
Yeah, can't coach it, but there's certainly guys. Yeah. They're punching dongs.
Yep.
You can coach it. Some people coach it. Some people coach it.
So couple of things there, Nick. I mean, obviously the awareness, of course, but then, obviously Bill probably was absolutely correct on that. Just like having some awareness about, and that was Myles Garrett, by the way, just jumping the pile. And so I'm sure that there's probably been instances either that's happened to you or it was attempted on you. Can you kind of walk us through that type of situation?
Yeah. So in that clip, he alluded to, having a number 19 in the A gap, having a DB. That's not typically where DBs go on a field goal, just because they're trying to push the pile. So they try to put 300-pound D linemen in there. So obviously your antennas need to go up. If you see a 19 number in the A gap, he's there for a reason. He's not just, eye candy. So we actually have our wings, typically they're tight ends, Charlie, Kolar, T-Rob's out there. We rotate. Brent Urban plays out there some. They're actually responsible for seeing that, and we'll kind of, in a situation like that, we would kind of say on like in the huddle, I'd be like, hey, alert jumper, just in case, and then do our little thing, break the huddle, get on the ball, and then it's between me. Obviously, I'll see it because I'm standing there, but our wings are supposed to say, hey, alert jumper, he's here, and Bill was right in saying, Coach Belichick was saying that you got to have some awareness in there. You got to snap and stand up. It sounds super easy in principle, but the whole objective is to make sure that you execute a perfect snap, especially in a situation where it's a longer field goal. And then a lot of guys are taught, because so often we get those big guys rushing in the A gap, we are taught to snap and get low so that you lower your center of gravity so you can protect yourself and not get moved back when those defensive linemen hit you in the shoulders. So it's, I don't personally do that, but a lot of guys will snap and put their hands on the ground and then let them hit the shoulders. What I do is I snap and I stay like kind of keep my chest parallel to the ground and kind of feel the contact. And then I have my arms out wide. And then if I am alerted to a jumper, if there's 3 guys on one side, I'll kind of shift my weight and try to stand up more. But at the end of the day, sometimes like the dude in New York, he just made a hell of a play. And for the dude in Cleveland, I'm drawing Myles Garrett, for him to be able to jump, to be that big, because he can do both. He can put his hand in the dirt and run right through you. And he can also obviously jump over you and block a field goal. So it's really difficult to do that. But obviously, Coach is right. You want to have some awareness and be able to at least anticipate that a little bit, given it's already worked twice this year. So more teams are going to try it because it's a copycat league. And anytime something works in one game, then you're going to have 31 other coaches that are trying to do the same thing. So, we're aware of it, and we kind of keep our eyes out for specific jersey numbers and things of that nature. And obviously, we play the Browns in 2 weeks, and they're our division rivals, so we'll play them twice.
So, are you gonna rise up?
I mean, you're gonna be a dong puncher.
Typically, we see Myles Garrett on the weak side in the C gap on field goal. So not there, and he's somewhere else. He's moving for a reason. So we got to be, we got to anticipate that stuff. We got to be ready for what we saw on Sunday where he was able to jump over and block field goal. So we're going to be ready for it. We'll practice it, I'm sure. And then we'll talk about it before we get out there, and we'll have antennas for 95. And then Denzel Ward, I think he's 28 or whatever. I can't remember his number right now.
Yeah. Last thing before we gotta let you go here, Nick, in a second. We got to get to our next guy, our next guest. Do some what do we say, IQ. Hey, Nick, have you ever had to lay up and lay some wood on some wood?
I dong punch, not intentionally anyway.
Not you. So that was a yes. You have.
I've never intentionally punched someone in their dong. No.
Yeah. See that's criminal if you do that. By the way, I do have some other stories where guys don't go for that area because I think that's a sacred area. But I do know people that go right for the rib. So we could talk about that a future time.